Now in this video, we are going to look at perfect squares. We are going to learn how to expand the perfect squares and then how to factorize and get back the perfect square. So first, let's start with the rules for perfect squares. So I'm going to have, if I have a plus b in brackets squared, that's going to be equal to, when we expand, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now notice we have a plus sign in the middle here between the two terms in the brackets. And throughout my terms in the expansion, I only have plus signs. Notice we have a here and then b. So we have a squared here and b squared here. Notice in the middle, we have the a times the b and then we double it to get 2ab. Now let's look at the other rule when we have a subtraction sign here. So that will be a take away b in brackets squared, and that will be equal to a squared, but now we'll have a subtraction sign here, 2ab plus b squared. So basically this is the same as this except for this negative sign here. So when we have the negative sign in between the two terms in the brackets, we only have a negative sign in front of the second term in our expansion. The third term still has a positive sign in front of it. Now let's look at some examples to practice these rules. So I'm going to expand and simplify x plus 3 in brackets squared. Now let's do the long way and then I'll do the short way with these formulas. So x plus 3 in brackets squared is equal to x plus 3 times x plus 3. And now if we expand that, we're going to have x times x is x squared. Then we're going to have positive x times positive 3, which will give you positive 3x. Then we're going to have positive 3 times x, which is positive 3x again. And then we're going to have positive 3 by positive 3, which is positive 9. Now notice our two terms in the middle here are the same. The signs in front of them are the same as well, so we're going to add and keep that positive sign. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So we're going to get x squared plus 6x plus 9. So that's our answer when we expand x plus 3 in brackets squared. Now let's apply the rules. So if I have x plus 3 in brackets squared, I'm doing it the quick way using this rule on top here. What this rule really saying to do? Square a, multiply a times b and double it to get 2ab, and then square b to get b squared. So if we square x, I'll get x squared. If I multiply the x times the 3, I will get 3x, and then I double that, I'll get 6x. Now positive signs throughout here, so positive 6x. And then I square in 3, and I'll get 9. So you see? Your answer here, same as the answer here. And we can do this very quickly using this rule. Now, let's do it with a negative sign. So I'm going to expand and simplify x take away 3 in brackets squared. So x take away 3 in brackets squared is equal to x take away 3 times x take away 3. Let's expand that. So x times x is x squared. Then we have x times negative 3. Well, positive x by negative 3, that's negative 3x. Then we have negative 3 times positive x, that's negative 3x again. And then negative 3 by negative 3, that's positive 9. Because you multiply two negatives, you can get a positive. So here I have my two like terms. That would be negative 3x and negative 3x. And the signs in front of both of them are the same, so I'm going to add them and keep that negative sign. So I'll get negative 6x. So I'm going to get x squared take away 6x plus 9. Now let's work the same question using the rule for the perfect square. Alright, so that means we are using this rule here. So this rule says that we're going to square the first term in the brackets. Then we're going to have a subtraction sign here. We're going to multiply the a by b and double it, so that's how we're going to get the 2ab. And then we're going to take the last term in the bracket and square it. And that's how we're going to get b squared. Now there's a plus sign from the b squared, right? So we're going to square the first term, which is x, so we're going to get x squared. We're going to multiply x by 3 and get 3x. We're going to double it and get 6x. But remember that second term is negative. So negative 6x. And our third term is going to be positive. I'm going to get that by squaring this second term in the brackets here. So 3 squared is 9. So positive 9. So notice we have the same answer. And of course, this is way shorter than doing this if you know your rules for a perfect square. So now let's look at another question. We're going to expand and simplify 3x plus 5 in brackets squared. So we're going to have 3x plus 5 in brackets squared is equal to, so to apply the perfect squares, we're going to square the first term in the brackets, then multiply the two terms in the brackets and double it, and then we're going to square the last term. Alright, plus sign here, so that means all our signs in the expansion would be plus signs. So when we square 3x, we are squaring both the 3 and the x. So we're going to get 9x squared. Alright, then we're going to multiply the 3x by 5 and get 15x, and we're going to double that and get 30x. And remember, plus signs throughout, so positive 30x. And then we're going to square the second term in the brackets, which is 5, and get positive 25. Alright, so let's look at our fourth question for expansion, where we're going to expand and simplify 4x take away 5y in brackets squared. Alright, so we're going to have 4x take away 5y in brackets squared is equal to, so we're going to square our first term in the brackets, which is 4x. So it's squaring the 4 and the x. So square 4, you get 16. Square x, you get x squared. So you're going to have 16x squared. Then, remember you have a subtraction sign here. So your second term in your expansion would be negative. So we're going to multiply the 4x times the 5y and get, well, 4 by 5 is 20 and x by y is xy. So that's 20xy. And then we're going to double that. So we're going to have 40xy. And remember that 40xy will be negative. So negative 40xy. Then we're going to add the square of our second term in the brackets. So we're going to square the 5 and the y. So that's 25y squared. Alright, so that's positive 25y squared. And that's your answer. So let's move on to the factorization. So in this first question, I have to factorize x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now, previously we did that. So look, the x squared plus 6x plus 9. So we're supposed to get back when we factorize this brackets here, which is x plus 3 in brackets squared. So now, I could factorize this using my methods for factorization. Alright, find the factors of 9 and see which one of those will give 6. But I would recognize here that my first term is a square, which is x squared, and my last term is a square, which is 3 squared. And now if I multiply the x by the 3 and double it, do I get the middle? Yeah, because x by 3 is 3x and double it to get 6. And therefore that will tell me that this is a perfect square. I'll write it out. So x squared plus, and I will put 2 times x times 3 plus 3 squared. So notice this will give us 6x. And why did I write it like this? Because I recognize that this is a square number, right? So x squared. This is a square number, which is 3 squared. If I multiply the 3 by the x and double it, I would get 6x. Therefore, it's a perfect square, right? Using x and 3. So my answer for this factorization is just x plus 3 in brackets squared. And we know there's a plus sign here because we have plus signs throughout our question. So here I have my second question. I have to factorize 16x squared take away 40xy plus 25y squared. Now if we look back, we can see that this is a result of expanding 4x take away 5y in brackets squared. So we're expecting that when we factorize this, we're going to get back this brackets. Because remember, factorization is getting back the brackets. Expansion is removing the brackets. So now, when I see the 16x squared, I recognize that this is a square number because 16 is 4 squared and this x is x squared. So that'll just be 4x in brackets squared. I recognize the same thing on the end number here, that 25 is a square number, right? 25 is 5 squared. So I'm going to have 5y in brackets squared. Now, I'm going to ask myself, if I multiply these two, right, and double it, do I get the middle term? Well, 4x multiplied by 5y is 20xy, and if I double it, I'm going to get 40xy. So yes, therefore this is a perfect square. I see this negative sign here, and here's a positive sign, so I know it's a perfect square with the negative sign in the middle. So I know my answer will be the 4x take away the 5y in brackets squared. So 16x squared take away 40xy plus 25y squared is equal to 4x take away 5y in brackets squared. So here I have my third question where we're going to factorize 9m squared plus 12mn plus 4n squared. Now I recognize that my n numbers are square numbers because 9 is 3 squared and 4 is 2 squared, and then I have the m squared here and the n squared here. So that 9m squared is actually 3m in brackets squared, and the 4n squared is 2n in brackets squared. Now I'm going to ask myself, if I multiply these two and double it, do I get the middle term? Let's see. So 3m by 2n is 6mn, and when I double that, I get the 12mn. Now I have positive signs throughout, so I know in my perfect square, in the brackets, I'm going to have a positive sign. And I'm going to be using the 3m and the 2n. So my answer would be 9m squared plus 12mn plus 4n squared is equal to, open brackets, 3m plus 2n brackets squared. And that's it for this video.